In today's lesson, we're going to look at multiples, factors, and how we can use them to work out the lowest common multiple and highest common factor. I'm going to go through an example of each of these so that you have a clear understanding of what you need to do to get your answers. At different points in this video, I'll ask you to pause and have a go at the questions that are on screen. Once you've finished, you can unpause and have a look at your answers. If you have printing facilities at home and you'd prefer to work directly onto a worksheet, these are available in the Resources to Help You section on Show My Homework. So let's start off with multiples. The multiples of a number are simply the values that are in its times table. It's really important that you remember the first multiple of a number is always the number itself. So for example, if I'm asked to list the first 5 multiples of 7, I start off with 7 and then I list the 7 times table, which is 14, 21, 28 and 35. They are the first 5 multiples of 7. Notice how the first one is 7 itself. If, however, I'm asked to work out a specific multiple of a number, I can use my times table facts to work that out. So in this example, I'm asked for the 8th multiple of 9. That simply means 8 times by 9, which would be 72. And in part C, it asks me for the 100th multiple of 37. So if I do 100 times by 37, that gives me my answer of 3,700. Pause the video and have a go at these questions. For each one, I want you to write down the first 5 multiples of the number given, as well as the 7th, the 10th and the 15th. Once you've done this, you can unpause the video and check your answers and correct any mistakes. Here are your answers. Please pause the video again and mark your work. If you've got any wrong, see if you can figure out why and correct your answer. The next thing that you could be asked to work out is the lowest common multiple. The lowest common multiple is simply the smallest number that is a multiple of the given numbers. In our example, we're asked to find the lowest common multiple of 12 and 24. So I'm going to start off by writing the multiples of each. The multiples of 12 are 12, 24, 36, 48 and 60. That's the first 5 multiples. It does obviously go on forever. The multiples of 24 start off with 24, 48, 72, 96 and 120. Our goal is to find the smallest number which is a multiple of both, or in other words, appears in both lists. I can very quickly see that 24 appears in the 12 times table and it appears in the 24 times table, and that is the smallest possible option. There are other options as well. For instance, 48 appears in both lists, but we want the lowest common multiple, so our answer is going to be 24. Just note that if when you are comparing your 2 lists you don't find a common multiple at all, it might be that you need to write down more than the first 5 multiples. Multiples go on forever, so you might need to go up to the 10th, the 15th multiple and so on. So what I'd like you to do is have a go at these 6 questions here for finding the lowest common multiple. All of the numbers that you're finding the lowest common multiple of, you have already written the multiples down in the previous section. So you can use these to help you get your answer. Pause the video now, and once you've finished, unpause the video to get your answers. And here are your answers. Again, pause the video and see how you've got on. If you have made any mistakes, see if you can correct them before continuing. The next thing you need to be able to calculate are the factors of a number. The factors of a number are the values that divide exactly into it. You can use factor pairs to help you get all of these factors, and don't forget that the number itself and 1 are always a factor pair. So, for example A, it asks us to list all of the factors of 40. I'm going to start off by thinking about what numbers multiply to give this. So I've got 1 times 40, 2 times 20, 4 times 10, 5 times by 8, and that's all of them. What I tend to do when I list my factors is write them in order, although that's not necessary, but that means that the factors are 1, 2, 4, 5, 8, 10, 20 and 40. In example B, we're asked to list all of the factors of 25. So again, I'm going to write down all the factor pairs of 25. That's 1 times 25 and 5 times 5. I can now list all of the factors, so that's going to be 1, 5 and 25. Although, to get 25, I need 2 5s being multiplied together, when I list my factors, I only need to write it down once. Once again, I'd like you to pause the video and have a go at the questions that are on the screen. The spaces next to each number indicate how many factors you should find for each of them. Use this to help you out. Pause the video and have a go, and once you've done, unpause and the answers will appear. And here are your answers. Again, check very carefully to make sure you've got all of the correct numbers, and if you have, you can move on. If you've made any mistakes, see if you can fix them. The last part of this lesson is looking at the highest common factor. The highest common factor is the largest number that is a factor of the given numbers. In our example, we're asked to work out the highest common factor of 8 and 12. So I'm going to start off by writing down all of the factors of 8, which are 1, 2, 4 and 8. Next, I'm going to list all of the factors of 12. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 and 12. I'm then going to compare each list just like I did for the lowest common multiple. However, this time we want the highest common factor, so that's the biggest number that appears in both lists. Looking at both lists, I can see that 1 is a common factor that appears in both. 2 is also a common factor that appears in both, but the highest common factor is 4. That is the biggest number which appears in both lists. So the highest common factor of 8 and 12 is 4. I'd now like you to find the highest common factor of the 6 questions that are appearing on the screen right now. As with the questions for the lowest common multiple, you can look back at the previous section on factors and use the factors that you've already written out to help you answer these questions. Please pause the video now and have a go at the work, and once you've done, unpause for the answers. Here are the answers. Please check what you have done very carefully, and if you have got anything wrong, try and correct it now. Make sure all your work is marked with either a tick or a cross, and then take a photo of it and upload it to show my homework so I can see what you've been up to. If you are struggling to complete some of the work from today's lesson, then please do not hesitate to get in touch via comment on Show My Homework. I'll try to make myself as available as possible and get a reply to you as quickly as I can. If the issue requires a little bit more input from myself, I might ask to arrange a time to meet on Teams where I can give you some personalised help with that specific problem.